I titled this full moon, What Goes Around Comes Around. And this is simply because this full moon is ruled by Saturn. Saturn is the planet that dishes out karma. And he'll be doing just that at this lunation. I'm generally not a vengeful person, even as a Scorpio ascendant. Don't you get tired of seeing people just getting away with heinous acts, just terrible things, and they never seem to get any type of punishment for the awful things that they do to people? Well, this full moon is going to be dishing out karma. What goes around comes around. And I don't mean this in a really terrible, malicious way. If you've been a good person and if you've done good deeds, you're going to receive back good karma. Generally, when you do good, you put out good to the world, you end up receiving back good energy, good karma. But if you've only been dishing out horrible things and making other people miserable, this lunation is going to see to it that you get your karma back. You get whatever it is that you've been dishing out. You're going to reap what you sowed. Saturn is going to dish karma accordingly. I think most of us will be reaping good karma at the time of this lunation, simply because this lunation has a lot of trines and sextiles. And we cannot walk away from the Mars-Uranus Algol conjunction, which happened just about a week ago at 26 degrees of Taurus. This degree is going to remain active pretty much well into 2026. I'm making another video about this conjunction. This video is going to focus on people who have planets at 26 degrees of Taurus conjunct Algol, because Uranus is going to reactivate this degree a few times all the way up to 2026 when Uranus leaves the sign of Taurus. Hello YouTube, my name is Rachel Mayo. Welcome to my channel and thank you for being here. I'd like to say a big welcome and thank you to all my new subscribers. Thank you so much for your subscription. If you're new to my channel, please comment in the comment section of this video. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Say hello. I would like to know who you are. Commenting on my videos really helps my channel grow. Make sure to like this video, leave me a comment, and please subscribe. It's absolutely free. I'm still promoting my friends at the astrologyinternational.org. Are you interested in astrology, all things astrology? Come and join the discussion at astrologyinternational.org. The link to join this forum is going to be pinned in the comment section of this video. I'm still running the reading special on the Mars-Uranus conjunction. It's only $80. It's a limited time offer, so book now. This conjunction is going to be valid and active in our lives for the next 2 years. The Mars-Uranus conjunction is a synodic cycle that happens every 2 years. So don't expect things to happen exactly on this very day. Things are going to unfold over the next 2 years. So there is still time for you to take advantage of this reading. Book now. I'm going to encourage you to listen to the entire introduction of this video. This is where I discuss the aspects. This is where I talk about past similar events. I'm not going to repeat all this information when I'm reading for your ascendant. Make sure you're listening for your whole sign ascendant. When I'm reading for YouTube, I use the whole sign system, but during my personal readings, I use the Placidus system because I find that to be much more exact. So if you're using the Placidus system, you have to look out for 29 degrees of Capricorn. You may have to listen to 2 signs. I'm going to continue doing the competition for a free solar return chart reading with me, and you can enter this competition by subscribing to my channel. And after you subscribe, comment in the comment section of this video saying free solar and subscribed. You must be subscribed to my channel and your subscription must be open in order for me to pick you as a winner. You can comment as many times as you like. Even if you've commented before and you were not chosen, I encourage you to keep commenting. In this video, I'm going to announce the 3 winners for the free solar return chart reading. So if you hear your name, please comment in the comment section acknowledging that you've heard that you are a winner. You only have 1 week to claim your prize. The winners are Yahaira. She's commented on my videos several times. The other winner is Rachel, my namesake. She's also commented numerous times on my previous videos. And the last winner is Bindi the Boxer, also a regular commentator on my videos. So remember, if you'd like to win a free solar return chart reading with me, comment free solar and subscribe in the comments of this video and keep commenting. The full moon in Capricorn, which is a blue moon, is going to occur on the 21st of July at 6:17 a.m. This is Eastern Standard Time, New York time, so please make sure that you're checking for your own time zone in order to get the correct ascendant. This full moon is going to happen at 29 degrees of Capricorn. 29 degrees of any sign is called an anaretic degree. It is a critical degree because this is at the end of the sign. 29 degrees of Cancer in Vedic astrology is considered to be a drowning degree. So this means that perhaps we're going to have some wild weather. If you are at sea on a boat or on a cruise, please be aware that drowning is a possibility. It's most likely to happen when we have the moon at 29 degrees of Cancer. This time we have the moon at 29 degrees of Capricorn. I'd still be mindful that this is a dangerous and critical degree. This is also signifying that this full moon is going to be quite emotional because our emotions have reached a critical degree, and usually at a full moon, emotions are very high. We have a lot of karmic endings at the time of this lunation, but we also have some really positive aspects to the previous Mars-Uranus Algol conjunction. This lunation is going to form a very positive aspect, a very positive harmonious trine aspect. So whatever broke down, whatever calamity you had at the time of that conjunction, this lunation is offering some positive energy, some positive resolutions and different paths to take. There's a lot of opportunity for positive transformation at the time of this lunation. And that is also because Venus and Mars, the rulers of the transiting nodes, are making really positive aspects at this blue moon. So remember that the Mars-Uranus conjunction is happening for the last time in this lifetime, simply because Uranus has an 84-year cycle around the zodiac. We're getting this rare opportunity for liberation, to cut something out in our Taurus area of our chart. This is not going to happen again in the sign of Taurus. And this lunation, that is also a once-in-a-lifetime blue moon, is supporting this conjunction, bringing positive energy for new opportunities to move this area forward. After that massive breakdown, this is the opportunity for a breakthrough. This lunation is bringing a breakthrough. So what makes this full moon a blue moon? This is because we had a full moon at the very beginning of Capricorn. This full moon was on the 21st of June at around 2 degrees of Capricorn. So something may have culminated at that full moon, but it was not completely over, and it's going to be completely over at this Capricorn full moon, a blue moon. So essentially, this means that whatever is culminating, whatever is ending, is not something new. It was something which was already breaking down at the first Capricorn full moon on the 21st of June. This full moon is a culmination of whatever you started about 6 months ago when we had the Capricorn new moon in January. What did you initiate then? Now we have this 29th degree, anaretic degree full moon in Capricorn, which is bringing a final conclusion to whatever you initiated 6 months ago. Saturn is the ruling planet of this lunation. Saturn knows exactly what you did in each sign of the zodiac because he spent 2.5 years in each sign. And he gave you many chances to correct things and do things differently. The retrogrades are always a chance to correct things and to correct karma. We shall find out because Saturn is currently transiting the last sign of the zodiac, Pisces. This is where things come to end and die. Saturn is bringing karmic rewards, karmic endings, or karmic justice. And Pluto is assisting him by acting as the wrecking ball to old structures, old traditions, old belief systems, systems that we have known, believed in for decades. And the Pluto conjunct moon aspect is going to make us a bit sensitive, emotional, obsessive, jealousy. All these type of negative feelings are going to be highlighted by the conjunction of Pluto to the moon. The moon is in detriment in the sign of Capricorn, and this is because it's dominant in the opposite sign of Cancer, because it rules the sign of Cancer. The moon in Capricorn is being ruled by Saturn. This is already a difficult placement for the moon. As soon as the moon enters the sign of Capricorn, I believe it's going to be early on Saturday, we're going to start feeling a little bit down and depressed. And when the full moon happens, we're going to be triggered by Pluto. This is not going to be an easy full moon on our emotions. So if you're feeling down and depressed, I would recommend you call a friend, but it's more than likely that they're also dealing with their own issues. This lunation is affecting everyone. When was the last time we had a Capricorn full moon at this degree? I always like to go back in history, and I found out the last time we had a Capricorn full moon at 29 degrees with Saturn transiting the sign of Pisces was 30 years ago. A similar lunation in the sign of Capricorn with the same degree, with Saturn transiting retrograde in the sign of Pisces, happened on July 22, 1994. If you're old enough, can you go back and remember what was happening then? It's not going to be the same thing that's going to happen at this particular blue moon, simply because the outer planets were in different places, and I bet the North Node was also in a different sign. This is something that has happened before in your Capricorn house. I'm old enough to remember this full moon. This is the lunation that absolutely changed my whole family structure. My immediate environment, my family, my ancestry, my siblings were forever changed because of this lunation. Pisces is my 5th house because I'm a Scorpio rising. So the events that occurred at that time had an involvement of the 5th house. And with this reading, I'm also going to be looking at your Pisces house. As I always say in my videos, the 5th house is a house of good luck, past life good luck. Good luck that you earned for your good deeds earlier in your life or in a past life, which are activated for you to receive in this lifetime. So whenever you have an event in the 5th house, it activates your good luck. So Saturn here handed me a good dose of past life good luck karma, which forever changed my ancestry. And most people don't like Saturn, but when Saturn blesses you, Saturn gives you something, it's going to be something that is going to stay in your life for a very long time, perhaps even for the rest of your life. So this is a very karmic lunation. It is, after all, a blue moon. So the events that are going to occur are events that can only happen once in a blue moon. These are events that could possibly bless your life and change your life in a very significant way in your Capricorn house and your Pisces house. So in this reading, I'm going to tell you what your ruling planet is doing at the time of the lunation. Is your ruling planet aspecting this lunation? We're also going to look at 2 houses. The ruler of this lunation is Saturn, and Saturn is currently transiting Pisces. Pisces is the last house of the zodiac, also making this lunation very karmic, because some of us are going to be probably dealing with our generational karma. Capricorn is the 10th house of the zodiac, the midheaven. This is the highest point of the zodiac. So whatever is going to be happening at this lunation is going to be very public. It's going to involve the government, the work that we do, our status in society. This is the axis of the father or the more dominant parent. So it could be your mother that was more dominant, but most likely it is the father. This lunation is also going to involve the government hierarchies, corporations. It's going to involve our political leaders, because our political leaders, of course, are public figures. And on the opposite side, we have Cancer. Cancer is the natural 4th house of the zodiac. This is the most sensitive point in our chart. It is the IC. So this is another reason why this lunation is going to feel very, very karmic. Cancer is the house that rules over our ancestry, our mother, our home, our homeland. This is going to make this lunation very emotional and very personal, because we're dealing with our deep emotions and our deep resentments, perhaps resentments that we have to our lineage, our family, our mother. The 4th house is also the house of endings. So we're already dealing with the sign of Pisces, because the ruler of this lunation, Saturn, is transiting that sign, a sign where things come to end and die. We're also dealing with the 4th house. This is also another house of endings. We're dealing with a lunation on an anaretic degree. This is an ending degree. And we have Pluto conjunct this lunation. Pluto is the planet that brings massive transformation and endings. Pluto is a planet of death and transformation. It transforms whatever it touches. Capricorn is the sign that rules over structures, old traditions, old people in government. And with Pluto going back into the sign of Capricorn, almost at the 29th degree of Capricorn, where this lunation is, there will be some type of destruction or breaking down of old traditions, old structures, old people. And because Pluto is the lord of the underworld, this means that Pluto is going to go deep down. He is going retrograde after all. He is going to reveal the secrets of these old structures, of the government, of our political leaders, and of old people, old things in our life, structures that we have relied on, traditions that we've believed in are all under review. There will be some secrets revealed about these structures. Just know that there is a deep internal breakdown to rebuild. Pluto kills wherever it touches. It burns it down to the ground in order for it to be rebuilt into something absolutely brand new. So this means that some structures in our government are going to be taken down in order to be rebuilt into something totally different, something brand new. This is a culmination point. It is a full moon. Things come to end at a full moon. Things culminate, they fructify at a full moon. This is a blue moon. It doesn't happen a lot. I think it happens every 4 years or so in different signs. I didn't really verify this information. So if you know the frequency of the blue moons, please let me know in the comments below. So the things that are going to happen as a result of this lunation are going to be kind of out of this world. Let's also keep in mind that this is not actually the final breakdown. I believe we're still going to have another full moon in the sign of Capricorn next year before Saturn leaves the sign of Pisces. So the final takedown and the final culmination in this area is probably going to be sometime next year. 2025 is also the year that Pluto permanently leaves the sign of Capricorn and continues its transit in the sign of Aquarius for the next 20 years. So structures, secrets, traditions, whatever is old and outdated is going to be completely taken down to the ground next year. So who's going to be highly impacted by this lunation? It is the earth signs. The earth signs are Taurus, Capricorn, and Virgo. This lunation is happening in your sign Capricorn. This is a conjunction. It's a strong aspect. You're going to feel this aspect more intensely than the other two earth signs. Taurus and Virgo are going to have a trine aspect. Trine aspect is one of the best aspects in astrology. It's going to make harmonious energy flow to your sign, making things happen effortlessly and easily. Other people who are going to have a positive experience with this lunation are the water signs, and this is simply because water and earth signs form a sextile aspect. Sextile aspect is an aspect of opportunity. So if you don't use this energy, the energy is just simply going to dissipate. The cardinal signs are the signs who are going to have a rather difficult experience with this energy. The cardinal signs are Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. Capricorn, this is happening in your sign, so you have the hard aspect of the conjunction. Aries, you square the sign of Aries and Libra square the sign of Capricorn, so you're possibly going to be pushed into taking action, and this is probably much needed action. Cancer is going to feel the opposition aspect, which is also a challenging aspect, simply because you're going to have other people opposing you at the time of this lunation. If you were born on or around the 21st of July, you're going to have this tremendous energy in your solar return chart. This is an excellent time for you to book a solar return chart reading with me, Rachel-Mayo.com. You're going to want to find out where this energy is falling in your solar return chart, which house is being activated. The other people who are going to feel this energy intensely are people who have Saturn as their Loi. Loi is the Lord of the Year in Hellenistic astrology. That is a planet that's ruling you for that year. And if you have your solar return ascendant in the sign of Capricorn or Aquarius, Saturn is being highly activated at the time of this lunation, so you're probably going to have an event occur. So let's go over the chart and look at the aspects of this lunation. So we're having this lunation in the sign of Capricorn. This is where the moon is at 29 degrees of Capricorn and opposite the sun at 29 degrees of Cancer, or the opposition of the luminaries is what we call a full moon. And as I said earlier, this is a critical degree. It's a degree of final breakdown and completion. And this is going to deal with the things that we're so sure about, the things that we rely so much on, things which are a big part of our life, and things that probably define who we are. What makes this lunation a blue moon is the fact that we had a full moon in the sign of Capricorn on the 21st of June at around 2 degrees of Capricorn. This was the beginning of the story, and now the story is culminating at this lunation. So we are aware of what is coming to an end. It's not anything new. When we look at the sign of Capricorn, there isn't any other planet transiting there. We do have Pluto transiting retrograde. So the energy of Pluto is going to be felt quite intensely, especially because Pluto is transiting retrograde and he's going to hit the point of this lunation very soon. Pluto is transiting at around 0 degrees of Aquarius. Pluto is the planet that brings death and transformation. So there will be some type of major ending in our house of Capricorn. Pluto is going to later on revisit this point when he's moving forward sometime towards the end of the year. Opposite in the sign of Cancer, the Sun is also alone in this sign. So there's no conjunctions happening in the sign of Cancer. In the New York chart, we have Chiron conjunct the MC. So this is signifying that as a large group of people, we're going through some type of wounding because Chiron is square the Sun and the Moon at the time of this lunation, creating a T-square. We all heard about the unfortunate public event that happened here in America. So this aspect is active at the time of this lunation. This is another reason why this lunation is going to bring up some of our old wounds. A T-square is a challenging aspect. So this is going to happen whether we like it or not. Saturn is the ruler of this lunation. So we have to look at what the ruler of this lunation is doing at the time of the blue moon. Saturn is currently transiting at around 19 degrees of Pisces. Saturn is transiting retrograde. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. It deals with generational karma. It's a house where things come to end and die because Saturn has made a full circle around the zodiac. Saturn knows exactly what you did in every sign, and Saturn is giving you the final result, the final grade according to what you did, according to your behavior, which could be good or bad. It all depends on how this lunation and Saturn is aspecting your own natal birth chart. Saturn has a wide square with Jupiter, who's transiting the sign of Gemini. It is going to become a little bit more exact next month. Jupiter in the sign of communication, squaring Saturn, the planet that's ruling this lunation. In Pisces, the 12th house, this square is going to push us to start talking about things that we may not want to address, things that need to be discussed. Another challenging aspect that's happening at the time of this lunation, there is a square from Mercury, who's transiting at around 21 degrees of Leo. This is important because Mercury is still kicking the dust to the Mars-Uranus Algol conjunction. So that energy is still very present at the time of this lunation, but especially considering that Uranus became exactly conjunct Algol a day before this blue moon. So this energy is very much in effect. Mercury is square Uranus. This is an aspect that brings surprises, surprising news, perhaps upsetting news. Let's keep in mind that Mercury is in retrograde shadow, so whatever conversations we have around this time or arguments that we have are going to be under review when Mercury goes retrograde between your Leo house and your Virgo house. Let's look at the positive energy of this chart. This lunation is trining the Mars-Uranus Algol conjunction. It's bringing positive healing energy to whatever may have transpired at the time of this conjunction. So this is really positive and supportive energy, especially if you have something at the 26th degree of Taurus. It's receiving harmonious and supportive energy from this lunation, a trine aspect from the moon and a sextile aspect from the sun. So there is possibility for healing and some opportunities to make things happen. Use the supporting sextile energy coming from Saturn in Pisces, the ruler of this lunation. And in the sign of Pisces, we have Neptune, who's also transiting retrograde at around 29 degrees of Pisces, making an exact sextile and trine to this lunation. This is really supportive energy, opportunity for healing using our subconscious energy, using our psychic energy, or help, or perhaps help from the other side. Pisces is also the house of faith, deep faith, like religion or any other type of spiritual energy that you believe in. This is the time for you to have faith and trust that things are going to work out. The other supporting energy here is because we have Jupiter transiting at around 10 degrees of Gemini trining and sextiling the south node and the north node. This is really positive energy that is going to help us, that is going to propel us towards our destiny. This is the time when the tables are turning. Our destiny is being realigned to the right direction. The ruler of this lunation, Saturn, is transiting retrograde in Pisces, a sign that is ruled by Jupiter. So Saturn is being hosted by Jupiter, and Jupiter is making an exact aspect at the time of this lunation. The other positive aspect also lies with Jupiter. Jupiter is in a sextile aspect with Venus, who's transiting the sign of Leo. Venus is the ruler of the transiting south node, and she is the ruler of the stellium that we have in the sign of Taurus, the Mars-Uranus Algol conjunction. Venus is exactly trine and sextile the north node, and also trining Jupiter, who's also aspecting the nodes. This is really positive. These are really positive aspects. So whatever is breaking down in your life, culminating, things that you want to not, things that you don't want to let go because they've been in your life for generations, these are the only things that you know. These are the things that define who you are. There is a breakdown that is happening. It's very deep, transformational, and internal, and it's time to let go, whether you like it or not. The last aspect I'm going to point out is the fact that Mars has just recently entered into the sign of Gemini and is forming a harmonious trine aspect with Pluto in the sign of Aquarius. Finally, now the planets are going to be forming a positive aspect instead of a tough, challenging aspect when they meet with the sign of Pluto. Mars and Pluto rule the sign of Scorpio. And as we can see, Pluto is doing the major breakdown and destruction at the time of this lunation. Having a positive aspect with the ruler of the North Node is also very positive in my eyes. And it's going to be helpful at the time. And it's going to be helpful to this lunation. It's bringing positive energy, positive opportunities to utilize the forceful and aggressive energy of Mars in a positive way. This is going to happen easier because Mars is no longer squaring Mercury. So the anger, the aggression, the bitter words element of these, the bitter words element of the previous Mars-Uranus Algol conjunction is being released. The Mars trine Pluto aspect is really positive. I like this because Mars is leaving a sign where he was in detriment in the sign of Taurus because he's dominant in the sign of Scorpio, the opposite sign. Mars is moving into lighter Gemini energy. The trine aspect from Pluto is energizing Mars, giving Mars the get up and go, giving him passion to achieve something. So he's not lazy anymore like he was in the sign of Taurus. So we should see some movement in the things that we want to achieve. Aries ascendant, sun or moon. This lunation is happening in your 10th house. This is where you'll have culminations and endings and perhaps some new beginnings. Because whenever we end something, something new has to start. The 10th house is a public house. This is where when something happens, everybody knows about it. This is where we make announcements. This is also the place that rules over our work, our bosses, the government. It rules authority figures in our life. This is also a parental axis because it rules one of the parents, the more dominant parent. Usually it rules over the father. But generally, the 10th house rules over our status in society. Aries, if you've not listened to the introduction of this video, I suggest you go back and listen to the entire introduction because you are the first sign of the zodiac. You set the order of the zodiac. So everything in the introduction really applies to you. Saturn, the ruler of this lunation, is currently transiting your 12th house. Saturn is aspecting his lunation by a trine aspect. Mars, your ruling planet, just recently completed his journey in the sign of Taurus. He's now transiting the sign of Gemini. Mars is not directly aspecting this lunation. He is aspecting Pluto at the time of this lunation. So I would say, Aries, you're feeling quite energetic and empowered, especially because you're now transiting an air sign. Air sign and fire go well together. You will be able to be enthusiastic. You're going to want to accomplish or perhaps initiate a lot of things that you didn't have the energy for while you were transiting the sign of Taurus. So Aries, if you've been working at a job that you really do not like and you don't feel appreciated and you feel like you're not accomplishing anything, there's no advancement in this job, This is the time that you're going to decide to quit your job and perhaps start your own business, or perhaps you'll decide to go and do some spiritual healing of some sort, or you may decide to travel abroad to a far off land, because your 12th house of far off places is activated. Some of you may be dealing with generational karma that has to do with your father or the more dominant parent. Perhaps there's something negative that has been going on in your family, in your family for generations, generational karma, and this karma has to do with your father. You're deciding to put an end to it and deciding not to let this negative karma define who you are. It's very likely that you've been lazy about taking action towards accomplishing certain things. Or perhaps you just didn't have the courage. The help from Saturn in your 12th house is giving you the courage to really find your own journey, your own path in this lifetime, to define yourself in a way that you want the public to know you. You want to separate yourself from the generational karma that you inherited from the male figures in your family or your father. Since the 10th house defines our status, some of you will have a change in status. You're finally going to get married, or you're finally getting a divorce. Some of you are going to become widowed, or some of you will become parents. It all depends on what's going on in your own natal birth chart. The 10th house is an angle house, and when an angle house is activated, it activates all the other angles in your chart. So this single lunar event could absolutely change your life because all the angles in your chart are activated. Your home area could change, you could change, and that's changing your relationships with other people and the relationships in your job area. Taurus ascendant sun or moon. This lunation is happening in your 9th house. This is where you'll have endings and culminations, and perhaps you're going to have a brand new beginning, because whenever we make endings, something new has to start. The 9th house rules over the justice system. It rules over foreign lands and far off places. It also rules over our higher belief system. This higher belief system is a system that was most likely passed down to you by a guru, a priest, or your father, or perhaps a professor, because the 9th house also rules over universities, also rules over foreign languages and foreign countries. Some of you may be completing your studies at university. You're finally getting your diploma, or some of you, it could be a certification of some kind. The 9th house is the house where we legalize things. So some of you could also essentially be getting your green card or perhaps your citizenship. Saturn is the ruler of this lunation, and he's transiting the sign of Pisces. Saturn is aspecting this lunation with a sextile aspect, bringing opportunities from the 11th house. Saturn is transiting your 11th house. The 11th house is the house that rewards all the work that we did in the 10th house. So this is telling me that you've been slowly working up to what you're achieving at the time of this lunation. This could be something that was part of your hopes, dreams, and wishes, and Saturn is granting that wish to you. If you've been involved in some type of legal issue, a lawsuit, this is also the time that you're probably completing this lawsuit and things are working out in your favor. Venus, your ruling planet, is currently transiting the sign of Leo. She's not aspecting this lunation, so perhaps things that are happening as a result of things that you did in the past, not something that you're actually exerting effort towards at this very moment. This is more of a culmination of sorts, a culmination that is changing the direction of your future, because the 9th house is the house of our future. Taurus is an earth sign, so Taurus trines the sign of Capricorn. So by sign, you are trining this lunation. This is a positive aspect that is going to make things happen for you easily and effortlessly. And this is why, to me, it looks more like you're getting the culmination or the rewards of all the hard work that you did before, and this could be a wish fulfillment for some of you. Taurus is a sign that understands Saturn and understands the value behind hard work and resilience. It's very likely that you're getting positive results at this time. Gemini, ascendant, sun, or moon. This lunation is happening in your 8th house. This is where you're going to have culminations and endings. And perhaps you're going to start something new, because whenever we end something, something else has to start. The 8th house is a very complicated house. It is a house of secrets, and sometimes these secrets are secrets that we keep from ourselves. This also makes it a psychological house. The eighth house rules over other people's money and earned income like mortgages, loans, inheritances, financial windfalls. It is a house of shared resources, and this happens because we bond with someone on a deep, intimate level. We move in with this person and start sharing resources. So these are the areas where you're going to have culminations and endings. Saturn is currently transiting Pisces, your 10th house. This is where you have your karma. This is where Saturn is ending certain things that have to do with your standing in society and the public. This is also where you can get the helping hand. Perhaps somebody at your job, or your father, or somebody who has a higher status than you in society can give you a helping hand, perhaps in getting a mortgage or anything to do with having access to other people's money or making some deep personal transformation. There is an opportunity here from the 10th house area. This is where you should be looking for opportunities. Some of you could be paying off a mortgage at this time, and some of you might be getting an inheritance from your father simply because the 10th house also rules the father. Maybe your father passed away a long time ago. Maybe it's not your father. It could be somebody who you looked up to, or a father figure that is leaving you an inheritance. The 8th house is the house of inheritance, and most of the time to get an inheritance, somebody has to transition. If you were in a process of divorcing a spouse, this could be the moment that the divorce is final and you're separating your finances. And since the divorce is finalized, your status is also changing. Mercury, your ruling planet, is currently transiting Leo and is in square aspect to Uranus. Mercury is not directly aspecting this lunation, so perhaps you're going to be upset, or you might be delivering unpleasant news to somebody. You might be on the receiving end of an unpleasant news and perhaps getting into some type of confrontation or about whatever news that you're going to receive. Gemini does not aspect the sign of Capricorn. They don't see each other. So this is a quincunx aspect. So you may be dealing with situations where you perhaps have to agree to disagree, or perhaps you're just too busy dealing with the confrontation that you're having as a result of you squaring Uranus. You could still be dealing with issues from the Mars-Uranus Algol conjunction. Whatever is concluding at this time looks like it's going to be really intense, and it's going to really affect you on a personal level. If you're dealing with some type of PTSD or trauma from past events, this is an excellent time for you to go and get counseling. The 8th house is the house that rules over our hidden secrets, our psychological issues that we don't want to deal with. We can deal with these intense feelings or issues through therapy. Cancer, ascendant, sun or moon. This lunation is happening in your 7th house. This is where you'll have endings and culminations and perhaps some new beginnings, because whenever we end something, something else has to start. The 7th house is an angle house, and when an angle house is activated, it activates all the other angles. This full moon could absolutely change your life. The 7th house is the house of our partnerships, our serious committed partnerships, our marriage, our business agreements, or any other dealings that we have with another person. It is the house of relationships. Saturn is currently transiting your 9th house. The 9th house is the house of our future. It is the house that rules over the justice system. It rules foreign lands and it rules foreign people. It also rules over our higher belief system. And this higher belief system was passed down to us, perhaps an authority figure that we look up to, like a professor, a guru, or a priest. And sometimes this is also the house of the father. The moon is your ruling planet. It's always involved in any lunation. It is conjunct Pluto. This is not a very good feeling for the moon. The moon does not like to be in the sign of Capricorn to begin with, because this is a depressive placement. The moon is as far away from home as possible because, of course, it is your ruler. This depressive feeling is intensified by the conjunction of Pluto, who's bringing obsessive feelings, jealousy, and perhaps even some anger. This is a full moon, and in a relationship area with the 9th house also involved. Some of you are breaking up a marriage and you're doing it through legal channels. You're using a lawyer, you're using the justice system. Perhaps some of you are completing a relationship stage of just dating and deciding to get married officially through the justice system, the ninth house being activated. This could be a relationship that you've been in for a very long time, and it was somewhat difficult to get the other person to agree, to get the other person to also want the same thing, to want a real commitment, an official legal marriage. So hopefully, perhaps that's what's happening for some of you. Cancer opposes the sign of Capricorn. Of course, that is your descendant. You are dealing with another person because that is your descendant. You have to meet the other person in agreement halfway. There is some negotiating that is going on here. For some of you, it could be that the person you're deciding to get married with and settle down with is a person that lives in a foreign country, and they have to come to your country and get some legal paperwork done in order for them to get their citizenship or paperwork or perhaps a working permit so that they can live in that country legally. Cancer, if you've not listened to the introduction of this video, go and listen to the entire introduction, because this is activating an angle. So all the things that I said about this lunation are really going to be important for you. They'll help you figure out how this lunation is going to affect you personally. Others of you could be ending a business partnership, a partnership that has probably been not working for a while, or it's just been difficult and you just don't see the point of keeping this arrangement anymore. The ninth house is a lucky house, so whatever is going on in your relationships here, there is some type of protection or some type of blessing or even opportunity to advance relationships in a different direction, to have a different vision of the future of your relationship, or perhaps to end things in an amicable way. Leo, ascendant, sun, or moon. This lunation is happening in your sixth house. This is where you'll have culminations and endings. You may also begin something new, because whenever we end something, something has to start. The sixth house is the house of our daily routine. It is the house that rules over our health, our exercise regimen, our diet, the work that we do on a daily basis, our co-workers, our pets. We take care of our pets on a daily basis. Saturn is currently transiting your 8th house. The 8th house is a psychological house. It is a house of our secrets. It is a house of secrets that we even keep from ourselves. It is also the house that rules over deep transformations. It also rules over sex, the deep, intimate type of bonding sex. Essentially, this house rules over other people's money, unearned income, inheritances, mortgages, financial windfalls. Your ruling planet, the sun, is always part of any lunation. So this means that Leo tends to feel all lunations intensely and personally. This one's no different because the sun is opposing Pluto. This is not a very comfortable aspect because it seems like some type of deep transformation is being forced or pushed on you. This deep transformation is involving all the things that I mentioned. So positively, perhaps some of you have been unemployed for a while. This could be the time that you find a job that is going to require you to have some type of personality transformation, some type of deep change in order for you to do this job. And some of you have been underperforming at your place of work, in your job. Unfortunately, this is a point where you're going to be fired, and some of you are going to decide to quit and just do something else. There will be a big change and transformation of what you do on a daily basis. Some of you may decide to go on a cleansing diet, a deep purging type of diet that is going to transform your health. And perhaps you're going on this intense diet because of a negative medical diagnosis. I hate to deliver the next news. If you have an old pet, this might be a time of transition for that pet. After all, the 8th house is involved, and this will be an easy transition because Saturn is giving a sextile aspect to this lunation. The 6th house rules over our daily habits. If you have any negative habits like drinking too much, smoking, doing drugs, or perhaps unhealthy eating habits, this is the time that you're going to decide to put an end to this. This is an excellent lunation for you to do so. Some of you may decide to check into rehab or start doing some type of therapy to deal with some type of PTSD or trauma. And this is also because the 8th house of our secrets of psychology is also activated. Saturn is giving you the go-ahead to deal with your daily issues, to end bad habits, to go into therapy and deal with your psychological mental health. So perhaps there will be somebody funding your health journey, paying for your rehab, or perhaps just being there as a person, as a sponsor, to be by your side and help you go through this deep transformation. Virgo ascendant sun or moon. This lunation is happening in your fifth house. This is where you'll have culminations and endings. And whenever we have endings, we have to begin something. So this means some of you will have a brand new beginning in this house. The fifth house rules over our creativity. It rules over our creative talents, our creativity, our greatest creation being our children. It also rules over our talents that we may use to make money, start a business with those talents. It also rules over romance and entertainment. It could have an ending in any of these areas. So let's see how this ending is going to come about. Saturn is currently transiting your seventh house. The seventh house is the house of our committed relationships, like our marriages, our business partnerships, anything that we do with another. It's also the house of business and sex. We usually need another person for those activities. Mercury, your ruling planet, is not aspecting this lunation. However, Mercury is involved in a tough conversation with Uranus, and this conversation started at the Mars-Uranus Algol conjunction. So you're probably still dealing with a lot of things that happened at the time of that conjunction last week. So for some of you, it could be that you're taking a situationship that has just been very casual, a fifth house type of relationship, and graduating that to the seventh house to become a serious long-term relationship, or perhaps even decide to get married. Some of you could be taking a talent to the next level. You start a business partnership with somebody else in order to make a living or just extra money. If you've been involved in a relationship that has not been working, or the other person does not want to graduate that relationship to a long-term relationship, this is the time that some of you are going to say, enough, I'm out. I want somebody who wants something more serious, a long-term relationship. This could be a breakup for you, and a breakup that has probably been a long time coming. And if you're a Virgo who is pregnant, usually people tend to give birth at the time of a full moon. So I would recommend that you pack your bags and get ready and be prepared for anything to happen at this time. And some of you have had your business for a while and it has not been turning a profit. This full moon is going to push you into closing this business down, because you're going to feel like you've given it your all. So you're going to decide to close this business. And if you're a sole proprietor of a business, you own this business by yourself, this could be the time that you decide to get the help of another person, to go into partnership with another person in order to revive this business, or also get some finances, some financial backing, so that this business can function better and turn a profit. So Virgo, whatever is going on in your life at this time, it's best for you to use the help of another person. Ask the help of another person, go into some type of business collaboration. Make this energy work for you. Virgo is an earth sign, and earth trines earth. So this means you're receiving a harmonious aspect from this lunation. There is help for things to happen, and things to happen easier and effortlessly. This full moon could bring that missing element that you've been looking for, that assistance from another person that you've been looking for in order to finance your small business, elevate your business, or perhaps somebody who is willing to invest into one of your creative into one of your creative projects. It could be somebody helping you with something to do with your children. And others of you, if you've been having problems conceiving, this full moon could be the moment that you get your positive pregnancy test. Most people usually give birth with Pluto transiting their fifth house. Pluto is a sign that rules over sex, birth, death, and transformation. Some of you are involved perhaps in a long distance type of relationship. This is the time that maybe your partner is coming home for another country and it's very romantic. There's positive interactions between the two of you, and perhaps some heated arguments. Let's not forget that you are still squaring Uranus. Libra ascendant sun or moon. This lunation is happening in your fourth house. This is where you'll have culminations and endings. And perhaps you're going to have something brand new. And perhaps you're going to have a brand new beginning. Because whenever we end something, something has to start. The fourth house is an angle house. And when an angle house is activated, it activates all the other angles in our chart. So this lunation could absolutely change your life. Libra, if you've not listened to the introduction of this video, I suggest that you go back and listen to the entire introduction. There's information there that is going to help you understand how to evaluate your own natal birth chart. The fourth house is a parental axis. This is the axis of the mother, or perhaps the more nurturing parent, which could also have been your father. So this is going to involve one of your parents. It is also the house that rules over our deep emotions. This is the house where we are most vulnerable. The fourth house rules over our ancestry, rules over our mother, our home. It also rules over our deep hidden resentments, and these resentments could have to do with all the things that I just mentioned. So this could essentially be a very emotional lunation for you. Saturn is currently transiting Pisces, which is your sixth house, and the sixth house rules over our daily routine, our daily habits, our diet, our exercise habits. It rules over our pets. It also rules over our work, our co-workers, all the people that work for us. So we have to bring the energy of the sixth house into the fourth house. Opportunity here is through the sextile from Saturn to this lunation. So this is saying to me that some of you may decide to bring your work into your home. Others may decide to start working out from home instead of going to a gym, and that is hiring a personal trainer or a dietitian to take over instructing or helping you with your diet and exercise regimen. This could be because you're just trying to improve your health, or perhaps you got some negative health news. Your ruling planet Venus is currently transiting the sign of Leo and is not aspecting this lunation. So I figure you guys are still dealing with a lot of things that may have gone down at the time of the Mars-Uranus conjunction, and this full moon is happening to people who are within your sphere, people that you work with, or perhaps your doctors, your personal trainer, or perhaps your pet walker. So it seems like you're really emotional about something that is going on in your home environment. You're more concerned about your mother, your ancestry. Perhaps one of your parents is transitioning at this time, or it could be a pet that is transitioning and is making you quite emotional at the time of this lunation. Others of you will have a major culmination or an end in your home. You could be moving homes as a result of whatever has been building up and culminating in your home area. Others of you could be completing renovations that have been going on in your house, while some of you will be ending a dispute that has been going on perhaps for many years in your family. Your ruling planet is involved in a sextile with Jupiter, so perhaps you have some real positive solutions to the problems that you've been having. So perhaps this isn't a window of opportunity to resolve some of the conflicts. And perhaps some of you are going to decide to go for family therapy to resolve ongoing conflict in your family. Scorpio ascendant, sun or moon. This lunation is happening in your third house. This is where you'll have culminations, endings, and perhaps some new beginnings. Because whenever we end things, something else has to start. The third house rules over our immediate environment. It rules over our neighbors, our neighborhood. It rules over our gadgets that we use every day to make our life easier, our phone and our computers. It rules over communication. It rules over the mind, the thought process. It also rules over our learning ability and our skills. So you could have something culminating in any of those things that I mentioned. Saturn is currently transiting your fifth house. This is a good luck house, good luck that is available to us in this lifetime. This good luck we earned in a past lifetime for our good deeds, or perhaps early in this lifetime. This house is being activated, so your good luck is being activated. Your creativity, your children, our children being our greatest creation. It also rules over romance and our talents. It rules over. This is a house of joy and pure happiness. I think this is going to be a positive lunation for you, Scorpio. If you have not listened to the introduction of this video, I suggest that you listen to the introduction, because this is where I share a little bit about what happened to me when this lunation happened 30 years ago. It was quite positive. And I think this one is also going to be positive. And this is also because your ruling planets, Mars and Pluto, are in a conversation, a very positive, harmonious trine aspect. This is the best aspect in astrology. It's going to make the energy flow. It's going to make the energy flow between these two planets and houses harmoniously and effortlessly. So even though some things are coming to an end and it's sad and it's making you feel somewhat depressed and unhappy, there is a joy behind this, because it's almost like you need these things to end in order to move on to something else that is much more promising, to something that is going to solidify your future. And this could have something to do with, perhaps you get lucky, you win the lottery, and now you don't have to live in that neighborhood that you don't like. You have this opportunity to move and buy a beautiful home. You're going to have your siblings move in with you and start a whole new chapter with your family because of this good fortune that you've been blessed with. I really hope that's something that happens for us. This is very similar to what happened with me. If you've been learning a new skill, this could be the time that you get the certification. And this certification is going to help you find a better job. And you're going to be lucky in finding this better job because the 5th house is activated. This is the house of luck. And just a simple act of being in a different environment could expose you to different people. Perhaps you're going to meet the love of your life simply because you started this new enterprise or new job. If you've had ongoing conflict with a sibling or a neighbor, this could be the time that this conflict reaches a culmination. It comes to an end. And this is a good ending because this has been ongoing and it's been giving you mental illness or some type of psychosis. Anyway, whatever happens as a result of this lunation, please come back and tell us what happened. Sagittarius, ascendant, sun or moon. This full moon is happening in your 2nd house. This is where you'll have culminations and endings. Whenever we end something, something else has to start. The 2nd house rules over our earning ability. It is the house that rules over what we love and value. It is a financial house. It also rules over the family that we make with another person, like a spouse. It also rules over the friends that have been in our life for a very long time, and we begin to look at them as family. The 2nd house also rules over our mouth, what goes in and what comes out. So you could have a culmination in any of those things that I mentioned. Saturn is currently transiting your 4th house. The 4th house is an angle house. So when this angle is activated, it activates all the other angles in your house. So this lunation could absolutely change your life. The 4th house rules over the IC. It is the most intimate angle in our chart. It rules over our family, our mother. It rules over our ancestry. It also rules over our home and our deep hidden resentments. So we have to take the meaning of this house and insert it into the 2nd house, because this is the house where Saturn is transiting, and this is where the opportunities are going to come from. So whatever is ending at this time, you will have the help of your family, your mother, or somebody that you have a deep emotional connection with. Your ruling planet Jupiter is not aspecting this lunation. Jupiter is busy dealing with other issues with Venus, which are really positive issues. So if whatever is ending at this time is making you feel sad, and it's just that you lean into the sextile aspect, these are the two benefics, and this conversation is a pleasant conversation. So things could be ending in one area and you're receiving opportunities from the other 2 houses. Some of you could be ending a means of earning, how you make your money. Perhaps you have your own business and it has not been really turning a profit. You're going to decide to close this business and perhaps start a new way of earning a living. Others of you who have also had a business that is failing could get assistance from your family. Perhaps they're going to give you some type of financial backing. This could be from your mother. Perhaps you're going to decide to remortgage your home and get the financial backing that you need that way. Sagittarius doesn't aspect the sign of Capricorn because they're next to each other. So this is why I have a feeling that this lunation might not be really affecting you directly, personally. It could be affecting the people who are ruled by the houses, the people in your 2nd house, the family that you make with another person, or something to do with your earning ability, or the people that you make money with. Or it could have something to do with people in your home and you're involved because now you have to resolve these problems that may come up, or you have to take things in a new direction because of the endings that are coming up at the time of this lunation. Sagittarius, if you've not watched the introduction of this video, I suggest that you go back and listen to the entire introduction, because this will help you evaluate how this lunation is going to affect you personally. Sagittarius, if you've been having major problems in your home area and you couldn't do anything about your problems because you didn't have the funding, perhaps this is the moment that you are going to get the backing, the financial backing that you need in order to change the things that are going on in your home. Perhaps your business is going to finally turn a profit, or perhaps you're going to sell your business, and because you've sold your business, you have this ability to help yourself, to change your circumstances in your living situation. Some of you may also begin a new diet, a very strict type of diet, a very strict diet. Perhaps you got some negative health news and your doctor suggested that you start eating differently. This could be the time that you're implementing this new diet. Capricorn ascendant, sun or moon. This lunation is happening in your first house. The first house is an angle house, and when an angle house is activated, it activates all the other angles in your chart. This is the lunation that could absolutely change your life, Capricorn. If it's happening conjunct your ascendant, we're looking at your body and how other people see you. Anything to do with your health, your weight, your hair, your makeup, all these things are areas where you're going to want to make some major changes or are completing some major changes. So perhaps some of you have just completed your sex change, or perhaps it could be just some other type of surgery that is enhancing a certain part of your body, and now you're seeing the final results. If this is your moon, this is going to be really personal and emotional. It's probably going to involve your deep emotions. It's going to involve your mother or your family. There will be a major culmination in the home area or with the other people that I've mentioned. If this is your sun, it has to do with your soul, your identity, who you are and how you're known and how people see you, the public level. You are the 10th sign of the zodiac. This is an angle house. It's the highest point in the zodiac. So it has a lot to do with your status and your standing in society. Capricorn, if you've not listened to the introduction of this video, I suggest that you go back and listen to the introduction. This is your full moon after all. This is about you. So everything I say in the introduction is pertinent to you. The first house activates the opposite angle, the 7th house. This is going to activate your partnerships and how you want your partnerships to see you. Perhaps you've changed, you've had a major transformation in your personality and in your confidence, and you want other people to respect you and see you in a different way. It could be the time that you decide to put yourself out there in a different way. Saturn, your ruling planet, is involved in this lunation. Saturn is aspecting your sign by a sextile aspect. The opportunities here are very personal and they lie with you and how you communicate with others. Saturn is transiting in your 3rd house, 3rd house of communication, 3rd house of siblings, neighbors and neighborhoods, computer gadgets that we use to make our life easier, like our cell phone, our computers. This is the house of the mind. It's a house of communication. You are Saturn and you are the one aspecting your own lunation in a sextile aspect. This is saying to me that you need to start applying yourself in the way that you want others to see you, in the way that you want others to respect you, in the way that you want others to respect your standing in society. This is all going to come through what you do, the effort that you put into it, the effort that you put into changing who you want to be, how you communicate. You have to communicate this to others. It's just not going to happen in a snap. You have to apply some effort here. But the good thing is that you have the power to do so, because you are aspecting your own lunation. Capricorn, this lunation is a midpoint, is the midpoint before your birthday. So this is also somewhat of a checking point. Are you on track with achieving the things that you have set out to achieve this year? Aquarius, ascendant, sun or moon. This lunation is happening in your 12th house. This is where you'll have culminations and endings. The 12th house is a hidden house. So you're probably not going to feel this lunation personally, simply because it's in an area where you are blind. You can't see what's going on in this house. This is a house of self-sabotage. Through our bad habits like drinking, smoking, illicit type of relationships, anything that we do behind the scenes that we don't want anyone else, that we don't want other people to know about. This is a house that also rules over far off foreign places, far off foreign lands, even places that we don't know about, places that we just feel and know that they exist, places of other entities. This is a house that rules over our psychic ability. It rules over our generational karma that was passed down to us simply because of the family that we were born into. So essentially, this means that we kind of have no control in this area. Now we have the two luminaries spotlighting this area. Perhaps this lunation is going to expose your enemies. You're going to know who your enemies are, or what you're doing behind the scenes that is not good for you, and you're going to finally decide to do something about it. Perhaps you're going to seek treatment through therapy, rehab, or some type of spiritual healing. Saturn is your other ruling planet, and he's currently transiting the sign of Pisces, which is your second house. The second house rules over our earning ability. It rules over our mouth, what goes in and what comes out. It also rules over our family that we choose, not the family that we're born into. The family that we choose with another person, like a spouse or friends that have been in our life for a very long time, they start to feel like family. It also rules over our self-esteem. So some of you could have been dealing with issues of low self-esteem because of something to do with your generational karma, something negative that you feel is unfair. And perhaps at this time it's coming to an end because you're dealing with it, and you're ending this generational karma. You're refusing to let it define who you are in this lifetime. This is really not your burden to carry, so you're offloading this generational baggage. And because you're offloading this, you're beginning to feel better about yourself, and your self-esteem is increasing. They're telling you that you're better than your past generations, and that is why you should not be paying for the sins of the father and carry that burden. So you're putting an end to generational karma, or you're putting an end to bad eating habits and replacing them with better habits, with better eating habits. The 12th house is also the house of loss. So perhaps some of you have gone through some type of traumatic loss. It could be financial loss or loss of a family member that has left you a little bit traumatized, or you're dealing with PTSD at this time. And since the second house rules over our mouth and what comes out of it, perhaps you have to speak to someone. Perhaps you have to speak with someone about your feelings. And this could be a person that you trust, a spiritual healer, a psychic, or an astrologer. Or perhaps your ancestors are going to be speaking to you through your dreams and helping you find your way. Your other ruling planet, Uranus, is separating from the conjunction with Mars, but is still conjunct Algol. And this conjunction is going to be exact just a day before this lunation. So you're still dealing with that intense conjunction. Uranus is being aspected by Mercury in a negative aspect, a challenging square aspect. So perhaps you're going to receive some upsetting news from a partner or business partner, or somebody who you have close interactions with. Aquarius does not aspect the sign of Capricorn, so this lunation is probably not going to really impact you in a direct way. It's going to be much more on the subconscious level, in the hidden place of the 12th house. You're still dealing with the prior conjunction that happened last week and the square aspect from Mercury. And your ruling planet is giving you blessings, financial blessings, or words of encouragement from the second house. This is going to help you deal with whatever is going on and whatever is culminating in an area where you have no control. Pisces ascendant sun or moon. This lunation is happening in your 11th house. This is where you'll have endings and culminations. And whenever we end something, something else has to begin. The 11th house is a happy house. It is the house that rewards all the hard work that we did in the 10th house. This is the house where we receive our accolades, our promotions, financial windfalls. It is also the house of our hopes, dreams, and wishes. So this is most likely going to be a very positive lunation for you, Pisces. If you've been working at a dream, something that you hoped for and wished would come true, this is possibly the lunation that is going to solidify and fructify that wish. It's very likely that you get positive rewards. And this is also because your sign, the sign of Pisces, sextiles Capricorn. It is a harmonious aspect that brings opportunities, and these opportunities are meant to be taken advantage of otherwise they just dissipate. But you're not going to allow that, simply because Saturn is transiting your sign and is making you very serious and strict about how you do things and how you present yourself to others. It's making you strict about your life. You're not going to let these opportunities pass you by. And it's more than likely that you've been really applying yourself. You've been working really hard the whole time that Saturn has been in your sign. And Saturn is going to reward you for all your efforts at this lunation. Jupiter is not aspecting this lunation, but Jupiter is involved in a very positive conversation with Venus. They are the two benefics. This is another reason why I'm going to state it, that you are going to have positive things happen in your life as a result of this lunation. And your other ruling planet, Neptune, is transiting your sign and is directly aspecting this lunation with another sextile aspect. So two planets in your sign are sextiling this lunation, bringing massive rewards and opportunities your way. If you've been having a problem with one of your friends, your uncles or your aunties, or somebody in a social media platform, there's been an ongoing argument, this is the time that you're going to end this argument, and it's most likely going to be an amicable ending where people just decide to disagree and go their separate ways. If you've been a member of a social media platform and it's become perhaps too restrictive and not allowing you to express yourself, some of you are going to decide to leave this social media platform, or perhaps it could be an organization that you are a part of, and you decide that this is no longer supporting your values, or perhaps it's not doing anything for you anymore. You're going to decide to end the membership in that group. And for some of you that have been working on a long-held wish, something that you've been a long-held wish, it could be a business or some type of project with another person, this is the time that you're going to get the reward of all the work that you've been doing, of all the work that you did in the past. You're going to get the rewards, the accolades, and the promotions. This is really positive. This is the point of fructification, culmination for you. Things have gone as far as they can go, and this is time for you to receive your blessings. So Pisces, if you've not listened to the introduction of this video, I'm going to recommend that you go back and listen to the whole introduction, because there's a lot more information that is going to help you decipher how this lunation is going to affect you according to your own natal placements.